Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Overwatch Coach. So, as I'm digging through some of my old content from right before I caught COVID, we had a Diamond 1 Baptiste who was looking to break in the Masters, and he had sent me a code, but because I was out of action for so long, code doesn't work, I don't think. So he sent me a new code when I asked him if he still wanted that one reviewed. He got it to me before I even saw his reply back saying, like, I don't think that other one works. So here's a new one. So we've got another one here. Originally, he wanted Baptiste reviewed. Now it's, I guess this game is Anna. Like I said, he was Diamond 1 at the time that he sent me the initial message, which was 10 days ago. And now he's down to Diamond 3, so he's fallen a little bit. So, this will I think this is the highest rated VOD that I have reviewed as of late. So this will be kind of fun to watch just in that sense alone. Without further ado, let's do a quick little bit of team comp looking here, and then we'll get into the actual VOD itself. So this is our Anna that we are VOD reviewing. So you've got a Zen with you, so that means you are the primary healer by a long shot. Zenyatta's, basically going to keep you going, and hopefully one or two of the DPS will be getting the orb when you don't need it, and you'll be primarily, obviously, healing, I'd say these two, the Bastion and the Sigma, and then I'd be looking at either Bastion or Soldier for your ults, the Nano Boost. That's what I'm kind of thinking so far. So, terms of this team comp, I think I like your pick. I'm not opposed to being Anna here, as long as you're feeling comfortable enough to be able to carry the predominant amount of healing on Anna. And if you are, then Anna is definitely more than capable of it. So let's see what we get.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
So the only thing I want to start out by saying is sometimes you got to be careful when you're standing right on the edge of a wall, because when people poke around, they tend to aim right at, and then you catch a lot of flack. So the one thing that I might want to point out here is sometimes it helps to stand a little bit more away from edges of corners so that you maybe catch a little less random spam. Okay, the Sigma's putting the shield down, so hopefully you'll be alright. What happened to the nade? Oh, I think it just hit when she was spinning. So yeah, you gotta look out for that a little bit, but I like the thought behind it. Okay, you gotta sleep. Good anti. I like that you're looking for the antis. The one thing I'd say is you got to be careful if you see an Orisa initially, because they'll probably use their spin deflect. So you got to just kind of wait for that to come out and then throw the anti, like kind of like how the first one got blocked. Second one you got Mercy, which is good. See. The one thing I would say there is you saw the healing orb went on the soldier, so don't worry too much about it. Just trust that the Zen is going to keep your DPS going. And it looks like the Zen's kind of doing what I expect them to do, which is basically just healing the DPS, healing the harder to hit targets, leaving you to deal with just Zen himself and Sigma, and maybe top off the other two when needed. But for the most part, just let the Zen worry about Soldier, and then you both can kind of dual heal the Bastion as needed. Okay, good. So the one thing I might be looking to do here, since the team fight's basically over, is go to the right, take the high ground over the bridge. It should give you an opportunity to throw a really nice anti-nade.
is the better teacher.
The barrier appears.
I'll keep you up.
Yeah, like where the Bastion's going, that's where I would expect you to go. Like go there, wait for them to start coming back out, pushing through, and then drop the anti-nade on them. And then either just right to the right or right to the left, that's where you would drop out, because then you'll have some cover, and then you can just retreat back to your team from there. And then you could always land asleep as you're dropping back down if they're actually still trying to push even though they got antied. That's one of the things I like to do as Anna here.
Let you fall.
Okay, so I'd just do a quick reload. You've already shot 5 shots. Because now the fight's starting and you're going to be reloading quickly. Yeah. Reload. There, okay. One's got to get that orb on the soldier. So your nades are getting blocked a lot, I'm noticing. I like the idea of what you're trying to do with them. Like you're being aggressive with them and you're throwing them at the enemy. But this one could have went like right over here, I think. Might have even been able to land it right there and it would have still antied him. The only thing is he's so far back that regardless of if you antied him or not, probably wouldn't have made too much of a difference because I don't think your Sigma's going to really push him back too much. And yeah, he also has a shift and now the Bastions is feeding him a bunch of HP, so... So this would be another time where I would be looking to go off to the right, go grab the high ground above the bridge, wait for them to push in, and then drop a nade on them again. They don't really have anything that will punish you to do that outside of maybe Junkrat. You just have to be careful of Junkrat not doing what he did to the soldier right there. So... yeah, alright, that was a better anti, although little too DPS focused. That's the only thing here is that I would say a little too DPS focused. So you kind of top off the Sigma, he's still taking some damage, so he's basically sitting at about half. But as you're backing up, you get the anti, but you need to keep going back, and while you're doing it, healing the Bastion. Let the Zen worry about the Sigma for this instance. But yeah, by the time you even look at him, he's dead. And then while you're walking over to the Sigma, reload. Why not? So in a case like that, don't be afraid to pull the scope up. I could feel the indecision or something. I don't know. I could feel like a lack of confidence in your hip shot aim there or something, or maybe you weren't sure which target to shoot at, but just zoom in on something and start wailing away because your Sigma's fine.
Kill confirmed.
Okay, good.
I appreciate you're powered up. Get in there.
So yeah, I think I would have not ulted the Sigma there. It looks like he did get a kill. I probably would have just waited for the soldier to ult, who's at 99, and then ulted there, because if he can just run through the Sigma, he's gonna do a lot of work. Yep, look out for the... You know, pinging a trap is completely okay to do. You can ping traps and then hopefully he doesn't hit that next time. I get in the habit of pinging almost to the point where it probably annoys my team, but hopefully they don't land in the trap then. Yeah, that was a wasted nade. That wasn't needed. So again, I would be going back on above the bridge now and looking for antis.
Peace be upon you.
You need to learn to relax.
And then on top of that, if you still had your nano, you could nano soldier, because I'm betting he's looking to ult here. The other thing I would point out here is, if you haven't been, I would be communicating to Zen, keep the orb on the soldier, because that's obviously been the target that's like escaping you the most. I don't think it would be too hard for a Zen to keep the orb up there. And then he can always move it as needed as the fight goes on. But just to like leave it on the soldier for starters, I would see that as beneficial for you and this Zenyatta's synergy.
60 seconds remaining.
Yeah, so you're kind of getting into a weird habit as the game goes on where you're throwing like blind nades. Whereas if you were up here and then raining it down on them, you would get, I think, a better result and a more consistent result and at a more consistent time. The only caveat to that is that it does put you in a little bit of a precarious spot against the Junkrat, like when you killed your soldier that one time, but could be worth it. Oop, I think you're stuck on the gutter or something there. Yeah, so you got like hung up on the edge of the wall, and then I'm not sure if you just didn't know what to do, or so like just go back or even go in there and then go like out and around, because now you're putting yourself right essentially almost in front line, but you're like right in line of sight of a bunch of shots here. Yeah, so you were even kind of actually fine like right in this vicinity, but like as soon as you went that way, now the Ashe has line of sight on you. So honestly, like just anywhere off to the right where your Sigma is, like anywhere over here, you'd have been fine. I'm not really sure why you decided to go back out this way, but it got you killed. So again, I really would have been looking for you to be going up here and then dropping a nade down on them and then dropping back down this way. And then just either going here, coming out and around here, you know, something to that effect, or even just hanging out over in this vicinity. But yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to be getting that. So there, that was almost like a little too aggressive of a reload. I had to look to see exactly what that situation was. That one you probably didn't actually need to reload there. So there's been a couple times where you've reloaded where, well, not, there's been at least one time so far you reloaded when you probably shouldn't have, and then a couple times now where you didn't reload where I would have been looking for you to reload. So something to maybe be keeping an eye on for the rest of this match here is how you're managing your clip. So yeah, if you Reaper teleporting, that's another one that I like to ping. That gets its own little custom icon as well. Looks like your team was ready to jump on that Reaper though. Yeah, so there you go. Well, I don't know. So I like that, but I don't like that you're like now deciding to frontline the Sigma. Once the Zen was dead, you should have been retreating back into the castle, not frontlining Sigma. I'm guessing you're gonna die. Yeah, you died there. That was not a good trade. Ana for Zen, no, don't. That's not a trade worth doing. Like, if you can't kill the Zen without dying, don't bother.
لسه قدامي كتير.
You might have been able to get out of that though by just retreating back to the castle instead of like kind of constantly pushing in, but it's obviously not a guarantee you would have lived, but hard to say what the enemy would have did there. So you've got ult, nobody else does, so what I'd be looking for you to do here is one of two things. Number one, hold it for when Soldier has his ult, and number two would be throw it on Bastion when he goes into turret mode, but he's in turret mode right now, so too little too late for that. So I would just say hold it for when Soldier has his ult.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Yeah, no. Good sleep.
60 seconds remaining.
You need this.
Well, let's see if that comes back to bite you in the butt here, because you guys only have one ult for their last push, and it's Bastion ult, and Bastion's ult kinda sucks. And he's dead on top of that. And you wasted your nade on a Reaper who's stealth. Or wraithed. So, alright, let's talk positioning a little bit here, because this positioning is going to get you killed. So, number one, I'd be looking for you to probably being over here or over here, just maybe even going between the two spots. You're way too close to the front line where you're currently at. If you wanted to play left, then what I'd be looking for you to be at is more like over here. However, we've clearly seen the Reaper has no problem coming up over here to contest you if you are going to be over here. So this spot probably wouldn't be all that great. I'd be looking for you to be being a little bit more out of the way here. Yeah, see, like you just ate a rock that you had no business eating, and now you're dead. And keep in mind, this is the last fight. You win this fight, this round is over.
Now you see me?
So you need when you're playing Ana with a Zen, you need to be one of the very last people to die on your team pretty much every fight. And unfortunately, as the team fight started, you were basically the first one to die. I mean, I get that the Bastion died first, but that he kind of died through poke. He didn't really die in the fight itself yet, so... Yeah, you gotta be healing Sigma, not DPSing. And too little, too late.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
So yeah, food for thought there. Your positioning, not being so close to the front line, getting a little bit more out of the way. Even here too, you got to get a little bit more out of the way. Like now you're in a good spot, but yeah, don't poke this. You need to be living. Okay, now if there's a shield up, then you can poke it, but...
The barrier is weakened.
Yeah, so that sleep, not really sure what you were going for there. I don't know if you were trying to go for Sigma or Reaper. But if I were you at this point, I would be holding sleep for when Reaper ults or when Reaper starts trying to dive you, because he's getting close to it, right? Like he's right there with it. Now I get that you're probably gonna have another sleep by the time Reaper has his ult, but point is that you don't know exactly how close Reaper is to his ult, and it kind of beats just shooting it off into the void of a Sigma shift. So that or just waiting until somebody tries to get in your face, and then you could sleep them that way.
60 seconds.
So I would be playing a little bit more back and to the right now.
Barrier is splintering.
You're playing kind of more to the front and the left. This would be a position I would be playing if I were Lucio.
This will cut the pain. I've got you.
Except I'd be wall riding, but yeah. So that sleep specifically, I really don't like because now that Reaper's like right there on his ult. Alright, looks like your team's gonna... Reaper's still alive, though.
30 seconds remaining.
Okay, now he's dead. That's a good stagger. Okay, so right now you have your ultimate, your Zenyatta very far away from his ultimate. I'd be looking at you kind of giving away at some heals until Zen gets more of his ult charge and until you use yours. Because otherwise you're just taking ult charge from the Zen. Obviously, if too much damage starts coming in, then that's where you would, chime back in on the healing again. But I would be looking at giving up some of your healing responsibility to Zen right now.
You're powered up. Get in.
Oh, why? Why did you just do that? No. So what you should be doing is waiting for the enemy to come out of Reaper just respawned. Like what you should be doing here is waiting for the entire team to push beyond this right here. When they're all through this and they're completely engaged in the fight, that's when you would want a nano. But not there, because now the soldier basically has to peek out here into all of this incoming fire, and all they got to do is shoot at this. You know what I mean? Like it, and then on top of that, he doesn't even have his ultimate, so he's not even going to be visoring or anything. Nah, no, that was not the way to use your nano there.
Get out of my way. Into the eyes.
So like, see how they're pushed in now? This is where I would be looking for the nano. Also, oh, they had a lever. I didn't even catch that. Yeah, so that's what you should have been preparing for and sleeping the Reaper. You gotta track ults a little bit more than this. Honestly didn't even feel like you were tracking this at all. But if you're Ana and there's ultimates that you can counter with sleep, you got to try to do more ult tracking on this. I would expect somebody in Diamond to be able to at least attempt a sleep on this Reaper ult here. I wouldn't have really faulted you if you didn't get it, but like making the attempt is definitely something I'd have been looking for there.
Theory emerges from the chaos.
Overtime.
Left in ruin.
Alright, so team kind of carried the ending of that fight.
1.
Okay, so now we're on Baptiste. So let's do a little team comp look here. So nothing too drastic changed. Still got Sigma, still got Soldier, still got Zen. You're different, and then Reaper's different. I'm totally okay with going Baptiste here. I think Baptiste can work with what you're going with. The only thing to keep in mind is when you window, look out for Mei ult, look out for the grenade from Bastion, and that's really about, well, and then I guess the anti-nade from Ana. Those are the three things that you'll kind of have to just be careful of, I would say. But depending on how you use your window, you've got Sigma, you've got Zen, you've got Soldier, and if you put it really close, Reaper could make use of it too. So your whole team could get good use out of a Baptiste window depending on how you use it. Reaper being really the only caveat that I could maybe see not using it much, if at all, but...
Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
We must work and breathe as one.
Barrier initialized. Stay alive for me.
So, little too much DPS focus just to even start things off. You playing way too far forward too. So I would stay like right in here. And I'm being very careful to leave this gap so that you're not actually poking beyond there yet. So this right here is no. All the way down. Don't take any spam damage here. You can jump and then, you know, heal your team, but stay in this vicinity and just heal for right now. Because this is a big poke battle in the beginning. And if you're playing with a Zen, you don't want the Zen healing you because Zen doesn't do a lot of healing anyway. So let the Zen deal with whoever he's healing. You heal whoever needs the healing. And you stay out of harm's way for right now. That's what I would be looking at here. But what you do is, outside of the shield, you're essentially frontlining. And you're going to start taking unnecessary damage. And then on top of this, you're also DPSing too much. And remember that spot I said I was looking for you to be at? Well, they're up there, and they just killed your healer, and now you're solo healing. And I don't think that Zen would have died if you would have played that spot that I told you to play. So one thing that I'm noticing from your play here is I feel like you're having trouble predicting what's going to happen, and you're in a very reactionary mode. Like, if you see Reapers ulting up there, you got to try to get the grenade to hit like that inside roof of that door frame, and then you probably could have topped him off, or you could have just jumped up there with him as he went up there and then healed him. And then even stayed up on that like mid-ground area with him. And then on top of that, the soldier needs healing. And then based on where you were standing, like your Zen could have been saved by you too, had you have just not moved up as far. So kind of doing a little bit more of a better job of predicting in terms of like what your team's going to do, I think could go a long way, because you gotta kind of at least have like an expectation of what your team's doing, and either your expectation is just way off right now or you don't have one. And it's hard to say which, but okay, so I like the Mercy swap from the Zen, because they could pocket the soldier more and allow the soldier to be a little bit more aggressive. So I'm totally okay with that. However, your Bastion was moving up and absolutely nobody, or not Bastion, sorry, Reaper. I heard the Bastion die and it just clicked for me for some reason. But yeah, your Reaper went in and died to Zen. So where even, what? Where was that? Okay, Reaper's right there. So, alright, one thing I will say for anybody that watches this and also likes playing Reaper, don't Wraith into the team. Save your Wraith for getting out. That's why that Reaper died there. He took his escape ability and died. Yeah, I don't know if I would have noticed that either, to be honest. But yeah, so reloading, that was a kind of an awkward time to be reloading. Keep better tabs on what your clip is at here.
My barrier is gone. Here with a cue.
Stay there. Don't jump down. You jump down. You should have just stayed there. Good aim on the Sigma there, but you should stay mid-ground. The other thing I want to point out is I haven't really seen you get a good shift yet on your team. I think you're using your shift a little too prematurely still. Yeah, like that shift there, there's nothing for it. He's anti'd. That one went for a waste. So one thing to know, maybe you know this, maybe you don't. When you hit shift, say you're at 100 HP and the Reaper is at like 150 HP, and you hit shift, you both instantly gain 100 health. Just instantly, boom, it's back. So Baptiste shift is very vital to his kit in Overwatch 2. You got to get better value out of his shift. You have to time that in such a way where you're getting as much value as you can out of that instant 100 HP gain. Okay, yeah, that's just a little on the unlucky side for why that Bastion was there. Okay, you got revived.
Dust yourself off.
Okay.
Objective A captured. Escort.
So this puts you in a precarious spot you shouldn't really be in. I don't mind. Okay, let's rewind just a little bit.
Objective A captured.
Okay, so I don't mind you being up here. And I don't even mind you jumping up beyond this just to look above it, but I would not be jumping over this. At least not without knowing what's over there first. So you jump, you would see that the enemy's all right here. You can't do anything about that, and then you just jump back down and get back on the point. Instead, what you do is you jump up and above it, and then now you're taking unnecessary damage and you're in trouble, and then you got to use your shift. But then the Mercy's healing you, so the shift was kind of wasted. So now you're just down in ability. You see what happens there? Like, just jump up and scout first before you commit to anything.
Nice to be the patient for a change. Let me show you how it's done. I got you.
Again, same kind of thing, except instead of scouting, like, just jump up, shoot a healing grenade down or two, and then stay away from the enemy Rhine who's walking in on you here. Yeah. Oh, I don't like the window. I like the lamp. Wow. Okay, that's so yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of that window, even though it did get a kill. That shouldn't have killed anything. I'm a little surprised that Rhine didn't just back out with the Mei. Both of these guys actually should have just backed out and just waited for the window to go, or just play main. Like that Rhine just being hyper aggressive into your window kind of bailed you out on that one. Because like if the Rhine would have played, like, retreated and played like this area and then came around the corner and just contested point, like, that window wouldn't have done much.
Now you see me? Now you don't.
I don't know why the Rhine didn't do that.
Actuating the barrier.
Because, like, imagine now if you had window, like, right here. Right here. Window right... Like, right into that. They're either retreating back into spawn or you're getting a pick. Maybe even waiting a little bit longer than this, but you get the point.
Tactical visor activated.
Hey. Yeah, they're just pressing Q at this point. Not much you can do about that.
Don't think the payload's going to push itself.
The barrier appears.
So the one thing I want to throw in for here, if you're going to be shooting through this door frame, kind of do more movement. Spamming left and right to being hard to hit. They're not really shooting at you, so you don't really need to, but that's just a habit to get into. You don't want to be a stationary target, and you're kind of stationary here. And then to make matters worse, they've got a very narrow doorway to be shooting you through. So if you're stationary through a narrow doorway, you're very easy to hit. So just something to keep in mind there.
I thought you needed a head.
Bad lamp. Don't need it.
You seem to attract ninjas.
You make an
Nice.
excellent colleague.
One thing I will say about your healing on Bap, aim it a little bit higher up, especially when you're healing Sigma. It's easy to miss Sigma when you're aiming at his feet because he's a hovering hero. I actually don't really like playing Baptiste with Sigma because of that, because he's a little bit more of a harder to hit target. I mean, he's not the hardest, but he can be difficult to hit with Baptiste. But if you aim a little higher up, where his legs are kind of split and kind of toward hip area, you might find it a little easier to land consistent healing on Sigma as Baptiste. Oh, your Sigma just held on by an inch. So yeah, that lamp that you used there was too premature, I think. I want to just look at this again here. So
someone has to keep you alive. Get into the field.
I guess I'm alright with that shift. I'm not really sure why you did that jump and kind of put yourself in the line of sight of the Bastion though. I would have just played on the ground behind the cart. Yeah, that lamp, again, no real value there. I would have just held on to that, I think. Either that or I would have tried to use it to save the Reaper. But I think there you're trying to predict where there might be trouble, but I think you're just throwing it out a little too early.
Let them out.
Why the jump there? Like, you just gave yourself the window, but then you jumped over it. Yeah, so that window, I definitely wouldn't have looked to use that window the way you did there. So I think what I would have done is probably just would have fought this fight out. I don't think I would have windowed there, and I would have waited to see if my DPS would have gotten back for a second fight if we don't win this. But this window here, like, there's too much cover for them. Like, they've got this, they've got, you know, that, they've got this. There's so many areas to hide that anytime that they actually do poke out, which is basically right here and right there, they can just hide again and get healed. So, and then the other thing is this window's also off center. So like this bit of window right here is all wasted and hanging off the edge of the bridge. So I think what I would have done is just held it for the next fight. Also, this jump, I don't know what you were thinking, jumping over your window, because like you could heal through the window and get your Sigma back to 100% like in probably 2 grenades. Yeah, 2 grenades, because it still ended up happening, but it just kind of took like a more awkward path. But see, then if you would have had lamping the Mei ult could have been beneficial here too. Although I think it would have been too little too late, but yeah. So not a great use of the window there. Alright, so we're Anna now. And the Reaper's dead, so you guys are at this point going in 4 versus 5. Good sleep, but you died. Yeah, you guys gotta get all the way out here.
This is not the end.
You guys got time for about 2 more team fights, give or take.
60 seconds remaining.
It doesn't help though that your diva's been demeched. That's not good. Okay, back in mech, good. So, what? Yeah, I'm okay with your positioning here. You should be healing Diva. Let Mercy pocket the DPS. That's what I'd be looking for going into this team fight. You got a couple alts on your team. They've got a couple as well. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so you anti'd Bastion, but your team's not in a position to do anything about it. You also kind of threw that in blindly again. Your Mercy's not with anybody. You're missing. Yeah, just scope that next time.
30 seconds remaining.
Don't fiddle around and waste too much of your clip trying to heal somebody who yeah, she needed healing, but like, you know, you throw like one shot on her and you could probably have just been moving on to somebody else because she just would self-heal from there. And then on top of that, now you're going into this fight with no ammo in your clip.
Activating self-destruct sequence.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, there's nothing for it. So, the Mercy actually res Diva. If you could have lived, it looked like you kind of gave up almost. Like you just didn't know what else to do, so I'll just die on point. But if you could have lived, kind of half contested over here, and then just kind of stayed in this vicinity, they got the res off on the Diva. But I don't know if you would have survived that Bastion ult had you have still been alive when it went down. But you might have had Nano. You would have had Nano because the team didn't end up getting an ult from you on that last fight. But
Reinforcements.
yeah. So all right, things to talk about here. Number one is your positioning. I'm just gonna say POS. You know, we talked about that extensively as I saw it. Number two, your nades, you kind of throw them in blindly. You are aggressive with trying to anti-heal, which is good, but try to get into some better positions where you might be able to throw some more consistent, well thought out nades. Maybe even try to target particular heroes with them rather than just kind of throwing them blindly and just hoping it lands, because that's kind of the vibe I got from watching some of that. Three, alts. Your alts weren't really what I would have been expecting from you. Like that window, both windows weren't good in my opinion. The enemy kind of over committed to the first one and kind of bailed you out on that one. The second one, I think I just would have held on to it a bit more. And to go with that, I'm just going to say abilities too. Alts and abilities. When you were playing BAP, like your shift, I didn't really think you got good value out of his shifting ability. I think you were throwing lamp a little too early. You know, you're throwing nades it kind of felt like blindly throwing them at the enemy. Same with your sleeps too. You didn't really, like, you weren't trying to alt track like the Reaper toward the end. So sleeping his Reaper alt could have been a thing that I would have been looking for from you on that one. You know, and again, I wouldn't have necessarily blamed you too much if you missed it, but at least if you were doing it, and you weren't even doing that. So those are some things that I would have been looking for off of point number 3. So I hope that was helpful, and I hope you learned something from that, and good luck trying to climb the Masters, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.